Welcome back to The Wandering Screen. I'm Matt Koss, and today we're flying headfirst into the bold, bright, and occasionally baffling Superman. Superman is the first film in DC's new 8 to 10 year plan, Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, and with it, James Gunn and co-CEO Peter Safran of DC Studios are hoping to give the superhero genre a much-needed jolt. They've mentioned inspirations from the Star Wars-style timeline hopping to a Game of Thrones flair for morally grey characters. This Superman isn't an origin story. We're situated deep, like if you're jumping into a series midway through and the opening title cards waste no time bringing us up to speed. Krypton exploded 3,000 years ago, Clark Kent landed on Earth, he is currently fighting a baddie, boom, let's go. We open on Superman, David Corenswet, bloodied and flung across the Arctic after getting absolutely destroyed by some Lex Luthor engineered suited monster. And in this version of Metropolis, Superman is tolerated alongside the side of gargantuan monsters. So yes, the everyday working human will continue to drink their cup of coffee while the battle ensues outside the window, thank you very much. And Superman isn't exactly beloved. He gets under fire for involving himself in global conflicts and causing geopolitical panic, as outlined by his girlfriend and journalist Lois Lane. Rachel Brosnahan, always my Mrs. Maisel. Lex Luthor, played with icy smugness by Nicholas Hoult, spins this into a PR nightmare, framing Superman as an alien invader who needs to be locked up, and because Superman spends most of his day flying into battle, he hasn't really reflected on the confluence of his humanity and having a savior complex as someone from a distant planet. Needless to say, Superman is facing a villain, the world is on the brink of collapse, and he needs to save the day. Isn't that essentially the root of comic book movie fatigue, that it feels formulaic in that way, that our hero can never get too close to death because, you know, the movie is named after them. But that's also the reason why James Gunn made the film the way he did. The film and the story, written by James Gunn, isn't catering to new audiences or one without much knowledge of the universe, like myself. It's specific to the world without being unattainable. The film manages, after a very hasty start, to kind of rope you into its lore and help you understand the characters and relationships in their simplest forms. It all works seamlessly together into an entertaining 2-hour film that often soars, if lacking the depth of its predecessors. David Corenswet steps into the red boots here, and look, the comparisons to Henry Cavill are inevitable. They could be cousins, they could be twins, but where Cavill's Superman carried the weight of the world in his super sexy brow, Corenswet's Superman has a bit more bounce, a bit more charm, and maybe, dare I say, a bit less competence. He's less God among men and more guy trying his best. That it's a running joke that Superman's alter ego Clark Kent is hardly a convincing disguise for Superman just adds to the fun. And that might be Gunn's biggest swing. This isn't the brooding, mythic Superman of Zack Snyder's world. This one's lighter, wittier, a little bit clumsier. The tone shift is clear from the get-go. Gone are the grim colour palettes and existential monologues. In their place are fast cuts, sharp jokes, kinetic action, and a surprisingly dense plot that unfolds like a graphic novel come to life. The pacing is wild. Comic book fans might love the way scenes shift on a dime, like flipping pages. 1 second we're in an alternate realm featuring a black hole garbage disposal, and with a simple lock-click sound effect, we transition to Lois Lane's apartment. It's chaotic and stylish and undeniably cool. Though if you're not steeped in comic book lore, like myself, you might feel a little disoriented. Rachel Brosnahan plays Lois Lane with the caffeine-fueled sharpness of a newsroom shark. Her banter with Clark pops, but their romantic arc is too consuming. That reduces her character at some points to feeling insecure about their relationship rather than, I don't know, chasing the story of the century and taking down one of the most influential moguls in the world. That said, a scene where she pokes holes in Superman's savior complex is one of the film's strongest moments. Lois challenges him, not just emotionally, but ideologically. She wants a partner, not a god. Although, can't you have both? The cast is stacked. Eddie Gathegi's Mr. Terrific is the stealth MVP, bringing some of the coolest action choreography in film. His swirling dome sequence, where he shields Lois while dismantling a security squad on a beach, is gun firing on all cylinders. Nathan Fillion's Green Lantern drops in for some quippy fun, and Isabella Merced continues her Hollywood domination as the screeching Hawk Girl, which, for this confused lost soul, I wondered if there was a relation between Hawk Girl and Hawkeye, or they might be different franchises. I could have Googled it, but then I thought I might be spoiling something in a future film. Lex Luthor's girlfriend Eve Teschmacher, Sarah Sampaio, is where the film stumbles. She's a cartoonish satire of social media vanity, all sky-high stilettos and pouty selfies. It pays off in a plot sense later, but it flattens her character into something far less interesting. But let's talk style. James Gunn directs the hell out of the movie. The man knows how to stage action. From interdimensional portals to punch-outs above Metropolis, every fight scene is crisp, dynamic, and easy to follow. Gunn's tonal fingerprint, equal parts heart and sarcasm, is all over it, but therein lies a problem. A lot of the characters start to sound the same. It's the Peter Quill syndrome, that quippy, self-aware voice that Gunn loves so much doesn't always serve every scene and every character. And that levity sometimes comes at the cost of emotional resonance. We never quite sit with Superman, his planet, his culture, everything he knew. That's gone. The film glances off those themes instead of embracing them. That makes Superman feel breezy and fun, but also a little hollow. The real heart of the film comes from Ma and Pa Kent, played beautifully by Pruitt Taylor Vince and Neva Howell. Their warm, slow southern cadence is a breath of fresh air, especially after the intense Jonathan Kent we got from Kevin Costner. They're the emotional anchor Clark so desperately needs, and you just know they give the best hugs. In the end, Superman is a tonal reset, a bright, splashy, kinetic adventure that wants to reintroduce the joy of superheroes. It moves too fast at times, juggles too much, and doesn't always give its deeper themes the space it deserves, but it does exactly what it sets out to do. It establishes a new tone, plants narrative seeds, and leaves audiences curious for more. If you're someone who's burnt out on superhero movies, this might not be the film to reignite your love, but if you're game for a new chapter, a world where a Kryptonian dog steals scenes and superheroes aren't afraid to laugh at themselves, then Superman is a solid first step. You've made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of David Corenswet's take on Superman? Who's your MVP for the film, and are you ready to see what's new in the DC universe? Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more cinematic deep dives with me on the Wandering Screen. And until next time, keep wondering.